Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Brew live on Brew Sports. It is a Thursday edition of the program. There is a lot to talk about today, let's be honest. Unfortunately, we've only got 30 minutes to do it because McKenzie is still trying to be a very good college student, and we don't falter for that at all. So it'll be a little bit shorter today, but we do say good morning to you, McKenzie.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. It is Thursday, which is very exciting. What is on the docket today for final exams?
I have a presentation for
okay.
musical art.
Musical art. Seriously, we talked about this yesterday. The classes you take, and I don't fault you for it, it's just the most random assortment,
arts.
I feel like.
Yeah, so you have to take everything.
It's crazy.
And then I have a short quiz in advanced public speaking.
Oh, advanced public speaking, not like normal or medium or average public speaking. Yes, that was sophomore or junior years. Average public speaking.
Right.
Okay, good to know. Well, we are going to have a advanced guest on the program today. The Spurs radio voice, Bill Schawning, is going to be here in just a little while to talk a little bit about what's been taking place down in San Antonio. So it'll be great to get him on, get his inside information with everything that's been going on with the Spurs as they take on Golden State. Still trying to find any sort of relevance in that series. So we'll be excited to have Bill here joining us in just about a little over 10 minutes on that one. Before we get into any of that, of course, we have two wonderful questions of the day that you are not going to want to miss. One of them has to center around what many people might call the greatest and worst thing to ever exist, a Girl Scout cookie. We're asking what your favorite Girl Scout cookie is. We'll get into the reasoning behind that question a little bit later on. We're also asking, should people boycott a big baller brand? And that might seem a little strange. For some of you that don't understand the context, we will get into that in our What's Brewing segment in just a little bit. That way you can actually understand why we're asking people to boycott Big Baller Brand, because after recent developments, I think people honestly should. So we'll get into that in just a minute. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Spreaker.com, so make sure to check us out. Give us your thoughts, comments of the day, all that fun business. We say good morning to Jeff and Bryce and numerous other folks chiming in as well this morning. So time to get in to the wide world of what's brewing this morning. And McKenzie, of course, as we always do, we say what is going on. I have a really short one before we get into the big one with LeVar Ball as well, too. I don't know if you've heard this or not. I know you work for an affiliate in ESPN, and you hear Mike and Mike. They're officially wrapping it up. They don't have a timeline. They said sometime by the end of this year. But Mike and Mike, after a 19-year run, are putting a bow on what has been probably one of the greatest radio shows in TV, kind of, I guess, to ever exist in the sports world.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of a sad thing, honestly. I listen to Mike and Mike every morning on my way into the studio, and it's going to be weird hearing different voices on there, I feel like, for a while.
I agree. I don't know if they're going to be able to make a pair that upstands that. But Mike Greenberg did get a new deal, so he has a new morning show. And he's going to be getting paid $6.5 million.
Jeez, really? I didn't hear that he was getting paid that much money.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, that. Is he hosting it by himself, though?
Yes.
Really? $6.5 million just to sit there and talk?
Mm-hmm. The guys at ESPN were talking about it on their show. ESPN Milwaukee were talking about it on their show yesterday and saying that he's not bad at his job, but in the category of vegetables, he's just lettuce. He's not an expensive vegetable, so he shouldn't $600,000. Okay, you could fathom with it.
All right,
but $6.5 million. Like, they were basically saying he's no Skip Bayless. Why is he getting paid more than him?
That doesn't make a lot of sense. And I think that's a classic case of you have an established brand in what you're getting with Greeny, and that's probably why they're investing in him, saying like, "Oh, we already know what we're getting from you. We're not trying." He can be forward with his thoughts, but I think he always has done so well because he's had a good co-host. You're only as good as your co-host. Yeah. In all honesty. I mean,
it's hard to do a show alone.
It really is. It really is. I mean, that's great that Colin Cowherd or some of these other guys can sit and just ramble on for a while, but that's why people don't watch them as much, because they don't have a lot of back and forth. And they did add a co-host for Colin Cowherd's show over at FS1 now too, and she chimes in every once in a while. But I'll even listen to that show on my way home, or even on my lunch break, and it's like 80-20 or like 90-10, like for how much he talks to compared to how much she talks. I'm like, why are you there? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Or even like why they have the female moderator on Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. Yeah. She literally just sits there for 90% of the show with her hands folded, just like looking at the guys.
Because she looks good.
I mean, she's a very pretty woman.
That's why. No, but that's why she's there.
Right, exactly. And they're like, she's the moderator. I'm like, what is she moderating?
Yeah.
Like she drops one question in and then just like walks away. I'm like, it got me the first time. I'm like, oh, that's cool. They have a 3-person panel. This is a very pretty woman. Like, this is awesome. And then I was like, oh, she doesn't say anything.
Nope.
And I think for me, because I'm such a big advocate for females in the sports industry, I'm like, if you're going to be there, talk.
Yeah.
Don't just sit there.
Make your presence known.
Right, exactly. I'm very critical when it comes to using females just for the fact that they look pretty.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, that's great and all that you're an attractive woman, but can you actually tell me something?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm wasting my time from a personal
I would
perspective.
agree.
All right, so I don't know if you have anything short from a What's Brewing thing. Otherwise, I want to dive into LeVar Ball. But
Go ahead. Yeah, we can talk about the other stuff later.
Okay, so if you haven't heard about any of this right now, I'd like to go on the record to say I think LeVar Ball has hit a whole new low for his career. He was on Colin Cowherd recently, and he was going back and forth talking about the Big Baller brand. He was talking about the new shoes, the ZO2s, as he calls them as well. And there was just some weird conversation that was taking place. And I get sometimes you need to assert yourself, and sometimes you need to defend your brand, especially when people are hating on it, regardless of who you are and what your background is. But he's taken this weird approach now to stepping outside of not only insulting LeBron and Michael, but now he's insulting women. And that's kind of where I start to really get pushed over the edge. So there's 3 short clips I want to show you guys this morning. And you haven't really heard or seen much of any of this.
I saw one quote of what.
Yes,
what
and I wanna show these to all of you right now.
I'm sure it's gonna make my spine.
It probably will here. So I'm gonna pull them up. Here's the first one.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the first one. That's the first one. Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Okay, I think the main issue is he thinks he's better than the person sitting next to them.
Yes.
Next to him. Depending race, gender, age, none of that plays a factor. Doesn't matter who's sitting next to him. He thinks he is the better human being.
He is.
And there's no such thing.
And this is the thing that bothers me the most about this, because you watch this and he is backhanded complimenting this girl because he's like, I'm not looking at you because I'm scared of you.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
You're on a show that has 2 hosts. You have to acknowledge both.
Yeah.
It's not hard to sit here, talk to this host, and then do this and talk to this host as you're being acknowledged. It's incredibly disrespectful.
And you're a guest on their show.
Right.
They're reporting on you, giving you publicity. I don't understand.
It doesn't make any sense. I would be lying
Typical.
I'd be lying.
Typical.
I'd be lying if I said it didn't get better. So for here we go. Here, part 2. Let's check this out. So he doesn't like women. He's not appealing to women. He's not marketing to women.
Wait, so what's different about the Big Baller brand than any other brand that is successful and appeals to men and women? And
it doesn't want to appeal to women.
I don't understand.
It's exactly the same thing. It doesn't. It just doesn't want.
Because
just
why?
doesn't
You're
want sales
different
from women.
and you're better than everybody else.
Right.
Guess what? People have to like you to buy your stuff.
Yeah. It's true. That's the exact point about it, and that's I think that's one of the final comments here that that Christine makes here in this last one. So here, check out this last clip.
No. Oh.
What the hell just happened? I don't understand.
Wait, why did it even blow up that fast? She's like doing her job,
right?
Letting him come on their show, which is a pretty big deal.
Yes.
And promote his new brand.
I don't care who you are.
Wait, I don't get it.
Deal.
What is his issue?
I have no idea. That's the biggest thing for me in all of this is that even him saying like, "Oh, I'm not disrespecting women. I'm married." That doesn't mean a damn thing.
No.
It doesn't mean a damn thing.
Doesn't even mean she likes you.
I don't even care who you are. Yeah, exactly. Just because you're married doesn't mean that you're good.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't mean anything. You actually have to show women respect.
Yeah.
And not be an asshole. Like this is ridiculous.
Even if it was a man in that seat, why is he telling her to get back in their lane?
Stay in her lane.
She's clearly in her lane. She's doing her job.
Right.
She's sitting in her spot. She has not said anything offensive to you. So I don't know. I would be complimented though if I was her and he was like, "I'm scared of you."
I would be like, good.
I'll win.
Right, exactly.
That's what I would be thinking.
You're absolutely right about that. I was hoping to see some comments, and we are getting a couple about it. Josh says he's got to be on drugs or something.
Hello.
It's not. He is
Hello.
not what a terrible human. He is a very terrible human being. There we go. I can't speak English. Yeah, Bryce also says, I guess he believes in karma for something to see him come to them. What a putz. I mean, how do you? Yeah, and the fact of that too is like, I'm not saying like I'm going to do something, but he's like, I can't see what's happened. I'm not a psychic. Like, I'm sorry. What? Who do you think you are?
You're the one that made the threat, or
right.
Not anyone else in the room.
Exactly. That doesn't make any sense to me in that regards. It really kind of fires me up, honestly. Luke says it's kind of almost like Colin looking at himself in the mirror, basically, like a little bit. I think Colin Cowherd has come down a little bit from his egotistical, look at me, I'm the greatest person in the room. He can be.
Yeah.
But when you have somebody like that, like even Colin looked like slightly scared during that interview.
He was like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, why?
He was
okay,
like,
can this guy leave
what's
now?
about to happen?
He probably genuinely likes her, so he's like, speak to her that way.
Right, exactly. I
Who
mean,
are
it
you to
takes a
come on
lot.
here and
It
do
takes
that?
a lot to
Yeah.
like, have Colin Cowherd like back you up, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he was trying to defend her, I think is
good for him.
Is
though.
very much so good for him. So, all right, let's get out of the negativity here that is LeVar Ball. Let's get back into the still staying in the wide world of basketball. We teased this at the top of the show. We've got the distinct pleasure and honor to be joined now on the Morning Brew by the San Antonio Spurs radio play-by-play broadcaster, Bill Schauning, and he joins us this morning now on the Morning Brew. Bill, a very good morning to you, sir. How are you today?
Very good. Good morning, guys.
Hey, great to have you on this morning, Bill. We appreciate you taking the time today. First and foremost, we got to jump right at it. San Antonio has been a little questionable the last couple of games, obviously with Kawhi Leonard's injury being a big deal. How have you viewed it from your vantage point? Obviously, you get to see this team day in and day out from what your position is with the team, but how has San Antonio looked from the inside, in your opinion?
Well, when you lose 40% of your starting lineup, it's very difficult to overcome that, especially when you've got your point guard who's directed you in the playoffs for the last 16 years. He went down, Tony Parker, in the Houston series. And then, of course, Kawhi Leonard turned his ankle at the tail end of Game 5 in that playoff series with Houston. Did not play Game 6. The Spurs were able to overcome the loss of both Parker and Leonard against the Rockets with a 39-point road win, an all-time Spurs playoff franchise record for margin of victory on the road. And then they got off to a very good start against the Golden State Warriors. After they rested Leonard in Game 6, he was ready to go for Game 1 against the Warriors. They opened up a 25-point lead. They're up by 23 with about 7.5 minutes still in the third quarter. And then Leonard, unfortunately, re-injures the ankle. He goes out, and that really kind of left the door open for the Warriors because Kevin Durant was 4 for 11 from the field when he was guarded by Leonard. And then as soon as Leonard went out of the game, he started hitting shots. Durant, I'm talking about. And, of course, they came back from that 25-point deficit and really won Game 1, stole it from the Spurs after the Spurs had control of the game for most of the game. And then, of course, Leonard unable to go for Game 2. And the Spurs just really had a kind of a hangover from Game 1. Greg Popovich thought the team kind of felt sorry for itself and didn't play with kind of edge they needed to play. Even though they're shorthanded, they still expected to compete with the Warriors. So now the good news for the Spurs is we come back home. We've got a few days off before Game 3 on Saturday, and Kawhi Leonard's got a few more days to rest that ankle and rehab. And if he's ready to go for Game 3, this series could change. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm not sure that it will, but certainly coming back home where the Spurs have done a very good job protecting their home court, and if they can get Leonard back, that would really be a big thing for the Spurs. All they got to worry about right now is Game 3. They can't worry about anything beyond that.
Yeah, Bill, I definitely agree. Just one game at a time. I saw this development that kind of happened overnight, so maybe you don't know much about it either, but some articles have come out overnight saying that a Spurs fan is going to be suing Zaza Pachulia. I think I said that right.
Yep.
Alleging
That's correct.
that
Yep.
the quality of the Spurs' chances were diminished. Have you heard much about this, or do you know more about it than really what's coming out in the articles?
I don't know much.
So
I don't know much
fresh.
about it to be. Yeah, I don't know much about it to be honest with you. I kind of heard it on talk radio late yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
But it's kind of silly to me. That a guy would go that far to file a lawsuit. It was an unnatural closeout, is what Greg Popovich called it. We're talking about the play where Leonard aggravated the ankle. Pachulia came out to close out on Leonard, who was shooting a shot in the left corner, and he had kind of a weird sidestep that looked like he was purposely trying to get in the way of Leonard. And of course, that's one of the things that the NBA has really tried to outlaw is guys, landing in a spot on a foot, because that can really, as you can see, it could turn an ankle or, tear a tendon. So they try to make sure the guys don't do that. I don't know that Pachulia was doing that on purpose. He does have a history against the Spurs. Last year when he was with Dallas, we had a couple of different incidents involving Pachulia. But obviously Pop was very, very upset about that the next day after he had a chance to watch the replay. And I think he was just basically defending his guys. And trying to fire the rest of the team up, knowing that they'd be without Parker and Leonard, at least for Game 2. Parker, of course, is out for the rest of the playoffs. But, as far as a lawsuit filed by a fan, that really doesn't matter too much in the series, does it?
No, not
I
really.
would agree.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it some news, though, that's for sure.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Bill, as you mentioned, the game doesn't take place until Saturday. One of the players to watch that I feel like has done fairly decent the first couple of games has been LaMarcus Aldridge. He was a big addition to the team, of course, just a few short months ago. Now he had a very good Game 1, Game 2, not horrible, but obviously you'd like to still see more, especially with the lack of Tony Parker and Kawhi Leonard on the floor. How important is LaMarcus Aldridge to this team as they go into Game 3, especially now getting a couple of days rest, as you mentioned?
They need him to score. They need him to get in the flow offensively. In Game 6 against Houston, he was in that rhythm. He had 34 points in that ball game. They don't expect 34 points from LaMarcus Aldridge each night, but if they can get a good solid 20 points out of him with 8 or 10 boards, that would be great. They need some production up front from their power forward spot, and that's LaMarcus Aldridge. He's very much a rhythm player. When he's a good rhythm, he's very capable of scoring 30, but he's also capable, as we've seen on occasion, of going 6 for 20. But they need him to be that A guy. They need him to really, contribute both on the boards and also in scoring, especially when Kawhi Leonard's not available. Now, Kawhi, of course, the Spurs' leading scorer. If he can come back healthy, that takes some of the pressure off Aldridge. And the Spurs bench, obviously, is also very important. Now, the bench is depleted because you got a couple of guys that are starting that normally come off the bench. There's a young guy named Jonathan Simmons who's done very well in this series. And if Leonard is available, Simmons will come off the bench and provide that spark. So he'll have a little help if Leonard can come back.
Talking with Bill Schoening here, the broadcaster for the San Antonio Spurs. Bill, just real briefly, stepping away from basketball just for a moment, for those that maybe aren't as familiar with your work for the Spurs, can you just give us a quick little 2 cents about your career in the broadcasting industry and just how you got the job with the Spurs?
Oh, I've been very blessed. I knew at a very young age, at the age of 10, that I wanted to do radio play-by-play. It's all I really wanted to do. So I kind of worked all my life from the time I was 10 years old to becoming a broadcaster. So, paid my dues very early in my career, did high school ball, I did small college ball in East Texas, a place called Sam Houston State. It's in Huntsville, Texas. I was there 6 years. And then I got a big break in my career back in 1989. I got to work for the Texas Longhorns. And I did football, basketball, and baseball at the University of Texas and was the voice of the Longhorns from 89 to 01. And then in 01, I got a great phone call from the San Antonio Spurs, and I've been with them now for 16 years. And it's been a great run with the Spurs in my 16 years. They've won 50 games every year, and they've been to the Western Conference Finals 8 times in my 16 years, and I've got 4 championship rings. So no complaints at this end.
I was going to say, it sounds like they've had nothing but success since you've been there, Bill. So, I don't know if Greg Pop ever gives you a little thank you or not for your contributions to the team.
Has nothing to do with me. I'm simply along for the ride. I'm just happy to have a seat in the back of the plane and a spot in the hotel and a spot to broadcast the game from at the arena.
One of the things that we hear too, Bill, before we let you run, if you don't mind, is we have a lot of young broadcasters nowadays that are still trying to find their way and trying to, as they say, make the right connections and get the best highlight reels that they can get put together. From someone like yourself that has really cut his teeth and now landed in that dream job position, do you have any advice for young broadcasters that are still trying to find their way through the industry?
Oh, sure. You got to work hard. You treat everybody right. I always tell young broadcasters when I speak to classes that you got to treat everybody right. Also, one of the things that I think sometimes gets lost is the ability to write. I find myself having to write, a bunch of reports for every ball game, pregame, obviously the opens for ball games. So I think writing is very important. It's kind of a lost art. So if you can write, whether it's an article or just your pregame wrap up or your postgame wrap up or your pregame preview of the game, it's very, very important to be able to write. But treating people right, because you just never know when you're going to come across a person that's very important and influential in your career. And also make sure you treat every game, no matter what you're doing. If you're doing a high school game, do the best job you possibly can, because you never know when someone's listening to you. Mm-hmm. I got a job one time doing Texas A&M baseball. When I was doing Sam Houston State basketball, a guy just happened to hear me, thought I was decent, and hired me for the summer to do Texas A&M baseball in the spring and summer. So you get those opportunities sometimes. You just got to keep working hard at it.
That's phenomenal. Well, Bill, I really appreciate you taking the time this morning to swing by the Morning Brew on Brew Sports. We look forward to hopefully having you back again in the near future, and we wish you nothing but the best, not only safe travels, but also good broadcasts as well the next couple of games here for the Spurs.
Thank you very much. Good to be with you guys.
Good to be with
Thanks,
you.
Bill.
We'll talk to you soon. All right, there goes Bill Schoening this morning, the radio play-by-play voice of the San Antonio Spurs. Kind of a cool little thing there, honestly.
Yeah, what a phenomenal guy to join us this morning.
Got really giddy, honestly, when I found out last night that he was going to be joining us. I was like, no way. But I think it resonates so true, though, from a broadcast perspective of everything that he has to go through, and people go through all the time. Like, it's very rare that you are just handed a job.
Yeah.
It never happens like that, or the few that have been in the right place at the right time. Like, that's great. But for everybody else that doesn't have a Disney storybook kind of a career, you do, like but Bill said, you never know who's listening. You never know who's watching. You need to treat every single game like you are just playing your absolute heart out. And I think that's 100% true. I mean, I've told the stories numerous times that any time I've ever gotten any job in my broadcasting career, it's because I did a favor for somebody one time, which led to another favor, which led to another favor, which ended up, moving on kind of thing. So I always say, just say yes. If you're young in your career or you have the ability to give it all, just say yes, and then go from there and see what happens,
I would agree.
So kind of cool. Definitely a better note to kind of pivot off the chaos of LeVar Ball to move forward. But chaos kind of seems to be the theme of the morning, though, for us when we talk about our questions of the day.
Yeah.
I want to get to the first question of the day in more in-depth here in just a second. We do remind you, if you haven't commented with your thoughts on the questions of the day, please do. We're looking for your favorite Girl Scout cookie. We're also asking, should people boycott Big Baller Brand? If you were here with us in the first part of the show, you saw the videos, you saw the comments from LeVar Ball, basically just degrading women, basically just shooting down everything that is to do with all things good and pure. I feel like just absolutely,
yikes.
It's just yikes. Like when I saw this and then I realized you hadn't seen it yet, I purposely didn't watch the video. I watched you watch the video because I'm like, I want to know from a female broadcaster perspective. Have you ever been disrespected like that in any of your interviews or locker room talks or anything?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's always kind of that stigma, like, oh yeah, there's a girl in here. A girl's doing it. Oh, she's not learning it very fast. Must be because it's a girl. So, like, there's always kind of like,
right.
That's going through the back of people's mind when you're learning and getting into the industry. But I don't think anyone's ever been.
No one's been like,
no one's told me to stay in my lane.
Right.
Everybody's always helpful, and as long as you're willing to learn and ask questions and help them out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I don't.
And your response would be like, I'm already very short, so my lane isn't very big anyway. So stop coming into my lane.
Yeah,
okay?
I knew he had told her to stay in her lane, but I didn't know
look.
about the rest of it.
He just was like off camera, just like, stay in your lane. I'm like, who are you? Like,
right.
Stop.
You stay in your lane.
Right. Exactly. It does not about that. He wants to know, Luke on Facebook says, does that brand tie, is it more of a FUBU or a taboo kind of a thing? Yeah, those are like some gaudy looking like Goodwill ties that he has wearing out with the Big Baller Brand. All right. Well, we alluded to it earlier, obviously, about the Girl Scout cookies, the scandal. This will be the last thing, one of the last two things we talk about today. We talk about Girl Scout cookies, and we're going to talk about Lucky Charms. For those of you that are at home going like, wait a minute, like it makes sense. Stay with us. So you found the story about the Girl Scout cookies, and you have a personal experience with this as well too. What the heck is going on with the Girl Scout cookies?
Okay.
How bad could the Girl Scouts actually be? They're so cute,
right? Okay, first of all, I don't know what the woman is gaining by doing this. So just bear with me for a second. There is a Girl Scout leader who is on the run with not $15,000, $15,000 worth of cookies.
Ooh, cookies, $15,000.
That must be like a 15-passenger van that she's driving around. Because why and how?
How do you smuggle $15,000 worth of cookies out? I get like you can write a check or you can just take a bunch of cash, put it in a briefcase, and be on your way. But to have $15,000 worth of merchandise, those boxes are, about yay by yay kind of thing. Like to have $15,000 worth of those.
Yeah.
How much does a normal box cost? Like $6, $7?
I think like 8.
Is it 8? Okay.
Yeah,
but even still though, like somebody do the math at home like that. I wonder how many boxes that is. You got to have a small shipping vehicle, I feel like, to have.
She must be driving a bus.
She's gotta. It's the Girl Scout bus.
It says that once they find her, she's going to be charged with a felony.
Well, I would hope so. Like, how do you explain that going into female prison?
Know.
What are you in for? Yeah, still Girl Scout cookies. Be like, really? You needed.
But why? What is she getting from that?
Right. You needed those like Thin Mints right now. You had to steal them.
You don't even have enough freezers to put the Thin Mints in.
Right.
Because you have to eat them out of the freezer.
You do. maybe she stole a freezer truck and just stole the Thin Mints and put them all in there. This is a Kentucky Girl Scout troop leader. She's 26-year-old Leanne Vick, apparently.
She's young too.
Yeah. What do you?
Oh, she's just ruining her life.
What is your life?
That's already ruined.
Right. What do you have to be doing with your life to just one day wake up and be like, screw it, stealing Girl Scout cookies, I'm done.
From children.
I can't take these stupid little Sallys and Susies, and nobody gives a damn about your Girl Scout badge. I could see her just snap and be like, to hell with you. I'm out. Stealing these stupid cookies. I'm tired of selling them. Just drive a truck off a cliff. Just be like, I'm done. No more cookies.
Yeah, but like you said,
those girls can be kind of savage, though. I'm not gonna lie. When
sure.
they like corner you at the grocery store, you're like,
would you like to buy some cookies? I always just say, I already have. Usually, I already have actually,
like
but
you're lying to small children. What kind of an example are you
expensive.
setting? Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Josh says that's a ton of cookies, literally. Yeah, it really is. Jeff
it
says
probably weighs a ton. Yeah.
Thin Mints. Yeah, he says those are his favorite. He said Thin Mints, they're delectable. Drops the mic. Paired with milk is divine, apparently.
Oh, I could see it. It's kind of
There
like
you go. Who was it? Somebody else said, Josh said the new s'mores cookie is the bomb. I didn't realize there was a s'mores cookie.
Wow, okay.
Intriguing. Well, for those of you that are Girl Scouters, I think, I don't ever know what they were called. Whatever the peanut butter ones are. Do you know what they are? I probably should have.
Peanut butter patties?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just a little chocolate one with like peanut butter inside,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is there a kind of a cookie?
Yeah, little squish. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's just peanut butter patty.
That's mine. That's my favorite one for sure. Like I can't deal with like the ones with like the coconut shavings and all that.
Yeah, or like the lemon.
Yeah, like you're trying too hard.
Yeah, way too much.
Not happening. Not about that. Yeah, Liz says, I love the peanut butter ones, but they changed. Oh, that's right. They did. We got Girl Scout cookies this last year.
Oh, yeah.
We had a random girl show up at our apartment building trying to sell Girl Scout cookies. We're like, okay. She was just literally going door to door. I'm like, you really want that badge, don't you? But yeah, we had them and we were super excited. We tried them. We both were like, it's not good. Like, and we're like, did they change the recipe? Like, we were literally upset about it for like 2
Probably
seconds.
found a cheaper way to make them so you could get more profit.
Right? People are stealing them in droves, obviously. But so what is your favorite? Did you say the peanut butter is your favorite, or which one's your favorite?
Another thing that I don't really like in life is peanut butter. I know.
You're on a very short leash, McKenzie, I feel like. Good Lord. Doesn't like coffee, doesn't like sugar, doesn't like peanut butter.
Peanut butter
How do you live?
on an apple.
How do you live? What do you consume? Maybe that's why you're not very tall. You don't eat. You stunted your growth.
I'm really not a picky eater. It's just No, I'm not. It's foods that most people enjoy. I don't enjoy it, but I like all of the other stuff.
Okay.
So like common popular foods is like the only things I don't like. I like the
spam and kale and stuff like that.
I like kale, not spam. That's disgusting.
Right, I know. I was just assuming. Like I would be like it's par for the course at this point. If that would have been the truth.
I eat peanut butter on apples, but my cookie is definitely a Thin Mint, but it's got to be in the freezer.
Gotcha. Well, I'm sure one of the other things that you and probably a lot of people love to eat are Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, they're apparently General Mills is releasing 10,000 boxes of Lucky Charms marshmallows.
Right.
No cereal pieces. A whole box full of marshmallows.
You've probably had dreams about this, and
Probably.
It's coming true.
How many people have, tweeted about this or done recreational drugs and been like, man, I just ate a whole box of Lucky Charms and just ate the marshmallows. Like, that's great. Like, this is a stoner's dream, I feel like, right now. Like, they're giving, like...
Or just a kid's dream because nobody eats the
right,
pieces
exactly.
anyways.
I mean, you purposely, like... How many times have you poured a bowl of Lucky Charms, put it back in the box, and re-poured just to try to get more marshmallows? It's almost like you're, like, playing, like, a dice game. Like, I didn't get it. All right, put it back in. Okay, I got more. Like, I'm good with this one. Like... If you do, like, there's certain people have, like, the certain ratio of marshmallow to, like, piece on their spoon before they eat it. Yeah. Some people are weird like that.
10,000 boxes is not a lot, though.
It's really not, considering. Like, when you really consider it. And it's a
like
sweepstakes,
some groceries,
too.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not even going to be in grocery stores.
No, you have to actually, like, buy a box of Lucky Charms, then you have to fill out, like, the code on the inside and then, like, submit it somewhere. So
wow, smart.
Right? It's like
marketing.
one of those giveaways. Yeah, I know. Cheeky General Mills.
Got to buy the Krabby box with cereal first.
Yeah, exactly. The cereal that I never really liked, just the cereal pieces of Lucky Charms. Are you going to do this? Are you going to try to get involved in this, or are you not about that life? I just don't
If it was just filling out a
anymore.
form to try and get them, then maybe. But I don't want to have to purchase the original box of Lucky Charms because I probably won't eat them.
Right, exactly. I would literally buy the box, be like, how much? $5? That's fine.
Yeah.
I'd pull the thing out, I'd pick out all the marshmallows, and then I would look inside, be like, okay, there's my code, and then I would submit that way.
Maybe we could buy a box and submit the code together here,
I think we
and
should.
then if we get lucky, we can enjoy some. Literally get lucky. Oh, that was good. We can enjoy some marshmallows.
I was like, is she going to get that? There you go. Well done. There you go. I'm all for it. I think we should make it happen. I will send an intern out to find us a box of Lucky Charms. So we'll go from there. So, all right, you need to go do a final.
Yes.
You need to go be. Is today your last final, or is your
I have
smart,
a math final and a persuasive communication final tomorrow, and then I'm done.
Then you're finally done. Then we
Yes.
can break out the champagne and have a party.
Once I turn 21.
Once she turns 21, we'll start inviting for the party, and then it'll be like,
Yes.
When is your birthday again?
August 2nd.
August 2nd.
Soon.
We have to wait.
Not that soon, but soon.
Right. Before school starts again. So there you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you to Bill Schoening, the San Antonio Spurs play-by-play broadcaster, for stopping by the program today. If you missed any of the show, you can find it on our website, brewsportsnet.com, Facebook, and on YouTube, and on Spreaker.com. Numerous different places to find it. Brew Sports is also on social media here on Facebook. Invite your friends on Twitter and on Instagram at Brew Sportsnet. I am at Baxter Colburn on Twitter if you want to follow me there. Where are you on social media?
At MCK_Laurent.
Everybody with those stinking underscores.
I like
ridiculous.
it. It looks cool.
Does it?
Yeah, check it out.
All right,
MCK_Laurent. Check it out.
There you go. You found it right there. Thanks to everybody that checked in. Zach says he's all about those Samoas. Maxine says go Thin Mints. Josh also says great segment with Bill. Thank you guys for swinging by today, and a huge thanks to Bill as well, too. We'll be back here again for a Friday edition. Make sure to come back and enjoy what we've got going on. Programming's changed a little bit today here on Brew Sports. Halftime is here at 11 o'clock. Tanner's finally back. It's like Christmas in May. It's so exciting. But then 2 Up Front actually is today at 1 p.m. Central Time, and then Pick 6 is at 3:30. So for those of you that missed the shows earlier in the week, they're back and better than ever. So get after those. Thanks for watching Brew Sports. We'll see you guys tomorrow on The Morning Brew.